News here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Sugar Regulatory Administration, or SRA, assures the public that additional sugar imports will be above board. The details in this report from Shaila Francisco.
The Sugar Regulatory Administration is expecting a deficit of almost 50,000 metric tons of sugar by end August. Based on the agency's data, the imported supply was not enough to augment the local stocks for the year. This is why President Bongbong Marcos approved the additional importation of up to 150,000 metric tons recommended by the SRA.
If we don't have a buffer stock, the prices will surely go up. So, hindi na acceptable levels yun. Last year, yung buffer natin sa umpisa sa refined was about 20-something thousand lang po. So it led to speculation, it led to the spike in prices, which the President really wants to avoid.
But for the National Federation of Sugar Workers, the new importation will not bring the commodities prices down and will only benefit favored sugar traders. Since last year, the prices of refined sugar remained at 86 to 110 pesos per kilo. This is despite the arrival of some of the 440,000 metric ton sugar imports.
Nakakapagtaka as to why government has not been able to do much about this now. If they were able to import or raid the smuggled sugar that they said they have raided, in the warehouses, sana na-distribute. Wala pa rin kami natanggap asukal at the lower price.
The previous sugar import orders have been met with controversies, with some lawmakers questioning the legalities of the orders. The SRA acting administrator, though, has this to say.
Basing on our very fruitful meeting yesterday, everybody can rest assured that the coming import program, should there be a need for one, this will be normal, this will be all under SRA. It will all be above board, and it will be open to all the importers po. So everybody can come in.
The agency will finalize the exact amount of the additional importation by May. The additional imports are expected to arrive before September. Shaila Francisco, we are One News.
In other news, President Bongbong Marcos has approved a 5-year tourism development plan. Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco says the National Tourism Development Plan will focus on products, connectivity, infrastructure development, and promotions. Frasco says this will be launched in a few weeks, along with a new tourism slogan, as the country expects more domestic and international arrivals. The change comes after the Philippines ranked 6th in the list of top tourism magnets in Southeast Asia.
Under the National Tourism Development Plan, we're engaging in a heritage and culture mapping of our regions, our provinces, our cities, and municipalities. And this would give opportunities to our local tourism communities to develop their local tourism products and to obtain guidance from the DOT and its attached agencies as far as the marketability of these products. And while the Department of Tourism has not yet come out with an enhanced tourism slogan, but we will make sure to engage in consultation with our tourism stakeholders.
Moving on now to Filipino and Australian troops kicking off this year's joint military drills in Tanay, Rizal. Dubbed as the Kasangga exercise, over 100 Filipino soldiers will train with some 43 Australian troops on military techniques. These include urban operations combat tracking, long-range marksmanship, and intelligence surveillance. Also included are sensitive site exploitation and reconnaissance operations, which will also be conducted. The bilateral exercises are expected to bolster military ties between the two nations and will conclude on July 23. We have more stories coming your way after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. 2 fishermen were hurt after a vessel caught fire in Cuyo, Eastern Palawan. According to the crew of FV Victor, the fire started from the vessel's auxiliary engine at around 4 in the morning. Almost 6 hours after firefighting, the boat eventually sank. 2 of the fishermen sustained first-degree burns and were brought to the nearest hospital. The PCG has also laid down booms in the event of an oil spill from the sunken vessel. And Senator Raffy Tulfo has proposed that the government take back the operations of the country's power grid. Tulfo believes that ownership of the transmission grid should be reverted back to the government-owned National Transmission Corporation or Transco, and its maintenance left to the privately owned National Grid Corporation of the Philippines. Transco operated the power grid from March 2003 to January of 2009 before it was transferred to the NGCP. The National Grid Corporation is 40% owned by the State Grid Corporation of China, while the remaining 60% is owned by a group of Filipino businessmen. Tulfo says the NGCP's part-Chinese ownership poses a security threat to the Philippines. And ride-hailing giant Grab Philippines says that it was surprised at the fresh 9 million peso fine slapped on it by the Philippine Competition Commission. The PCC imposed the fine after Grab failed to refund some 25.5 million pesos to its customers more than 3 years after the reimbursement was ordered. In a statement, Grab noted that they have been proactively engaging with the PCC on the refunds. It added that they were not informed of the decision despite it being made last February. However, Grab says it remains committed to finding alternative ways for their users to claim their refunds. One News Now will be back at 5:30 p.m. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.